Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Conspiracy of Goodness Network July. We're in July, oh boy, workshop. This month we have Hope Zvara. She is a co-founder of Mother Trucker Yoga. She is a business coach. She is an entrepreneur. When we were picking somebody to walk us through and give us a workshop for this month's theme, which is sort of building a better building a better do-gooder. Sort of how do we as ourselves grow our own sort of person so we can do more, be more in the world. Hope came to mind as somebody who really fits into this perfect space that we like to occupy, of understanding that doing good in the world isn't just going out there and about doing. It's also about sort of becoming and how we help ourselves. And so, Hope, we are so glad to have you here to talk to us about this connection between mind, between body, and between business. So I think it's something that's vitally important, but something not a lot of people are talking about.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. And this whole mission has such a special place in my heart because I believe that we need more goodness in the world. And this idea of conspiracy of goodness, I think, is something that we could all rub up against just a little bit more. One of the number one questions that I get from people that meet me and students, past and present, is how did you get started with all of this? And the answer is yoga and this whole idea of mindfulness and alternative ideas towards living a healthier, happier life really found me. And I didn't find it. It found me when I was knee deep in an eating disorder and struggling to survive, struggling to fake it, and just trying to find my place in the world, in a world that felt very dark and very unaccepting of my ideas and my views on life and my take on how I want to present myself with the world. And yoga just dropped in my lap. I was at work and one of my coworkers at the time, I was in high school, looked at me randomly when walking by and said, "You look like someone that would practice yoga." And in that moment, something in me flipped. Full disclosure, I don't even think I knew what yoga was, but it just was like, I need to do that. A little voice in me just urged me to. So I went home and I said, "Hey, Mom, I think I want to practice yoga." And at the time, I was really struggling to try to get into recovery, even though I didn't know what that actually was. And I was hooked. My Wednesday night yoga class became my weekly ritual of second chances. And I still remember my very first yoga class, although I'm pretty sure I did everything wrong. I was inhaling when I should be exhaling. I was shaking. I couldn't do any of the postures right. I was half the age of everybody else in the classroom. But at that moment, that didn't matter. And when I rolled up my mat and I walked out the door, I noticed something I hadn't noticed in years, that my mind was clear. My anxiety, my worry, my fear was out the window. And I kept coming back week after week, month after month. And eventually that same teacher that I had been attending classes with looked at me one day after class and said, "You look like someone that would teach yoga. Have you ever thought about becoming a teacher?" And at the time I was in college, just kind of going because that's what you're supposed to do. You go to college after high school. And something in me that night just flipped. And I went home and I was like, "Hey, Mom, I think I want to take a yoga teacher training." And she was like, "Okay," not knowing anything about it. I went on the internet and popped up a place in Colorado, and off I was for a 30-day yoga training that essentially changed the entire trajectory of my life. I came back from that training still struggling to move into recovery with an eating disorder and struggling with things like anxiety and depression, but I had hope for the first time. And that hope eventually led me to turn away my admissions for college for that following year and pursue teaching yoga full time. And something really interesting, I think, happens when we decide to follow our path and we decide to live out what it is that we're meant to be doing here on this earth, is that we attract people that are either on the same path and trajectory as we are or need what we have, and they're just a few steps behind us. And although I was half the age of all of my students and I didn't have this whole life thing figured out, I was still struggling with an addiction. Every time I came to the mat to teach, it was like I was healing other people. And at the same time, I was healing myself. And yoga taught me something really important, which is what we're going to talk about today. And it taught me the power of our mindset. And it's really not mindset. Because if your mind is set on something, it means you're not willing to change. So we're going to talk about what a mind shift is. The second thing is we're going to talk about is movement, or what we're going to focus on is posture today. And how you present yourself to the world really dictates what the world is going to give you back, be it in your personal life, your professional life, whatever it is. And then finally, the last one is not your business, but your mission. What is your mission in this world? I believe we're all given a mission. And if we tap into that, and we tune into that, no matter how big or small, some build a business around it, some don't. But when we focus on the right steps in moving forward with our mission, not only do our lives change, but the people's lives around us change as well. So I'm going to switch to a screen share. And so I'm not going to use it the whole time, but you'll have to pardon, because if you're not used to Zoom, there's always like these weird delays when you kind of go back and forth between a screen share. So we're all just going to totally work with it. And there we go. And let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. Okay, awesome. So mind, body, and business was some of the things when we think about how do we move forward, how do we get better at stuff, are what we're going to be talking about. And like I said, it's mind shift, not mindset, movement, and mission. Those are the three areas that we're going to talk about today. The first one is mind shift. What is a mind shift? Well, if a mindset is being stuck in a particular way of thinking, in a particular way of doing, in a particular way of accepting the world or moving into the world, we don't need another mindset. What we need is a mind shift. We need to shift our mind into looking at things differently. And people usually say to me, well, Hope, how do I do that? Like, life is hard, or you don't know my past, or I have this thing, or my spouse is this, or my job is this. And the reality is we all have stuff. But if we tap into one really important tool in our bodies, we can transform that and move from mindset to mind shift. The way to break that cycle is through breathing. Now, most people ask me, Hope, how did you move into recovery without prescription medications? And the answer is this one right here, breathing. I didn't realize that breathing was tied into every system in your body. That when I was shallow breathing, having a panic attack, when I was feeling afraid and I stopped breathing, that was shutting down systems in my body, like my nervous system, my autonomic nervous system, my lymphatic system, my immune system. It was shutting me down to go into preservation mode. And the second we tap into our breathing, we're able to make that shift to where we can see life differently. And for me at that time, it was seeing that situation, however small, that situation of what do I wear to this party and not being able to figure it out and having a panic attack, to being able to put this on, Hope, and learn to have confidence and do it anyways, that we can use breathing to accomplish anything in our life. So I want to teach you a breathing practice that I have been using for the past 15 years in my own personal life and teaching countless individuals this breathing exercise as well. And so I want you to sit nice and tall. If you're standing like I am, that's great. Just stand nice and tall and take one hand and place it on your belly. So down by your belly button, and place one hand up on your chest. So before we change anything in our lives and in our body, we first have to take inventory of where we're at. It's like taking your car into the mechanic and saying, hey, something's clunking. They're going to assess it before they fix it. And once you have your hands there, just do yourself a favor and close your eyes. Take a nice exhalation out through the nose, no stress, soften the jaw. And we're going to nose breathe. On the inhalation, I want you just to take a nice deep breath in and notice what you notice. And then take a nice deep breath out. Was it shallow or deep, fast or slow? So just take inventory to that. And on your next breath now, I want you to try to breathe deeply into that lower hand. Try to make your belly nice and big, which is kind of the opposite of what we're told in society. Suck it in and button it up, and I want you just to let it go. And as you take that inhale into your body, let your chest rise as well. Your lungs expand. And when you can't take in any more air, when that cup is completely full, exhale through the nose and feel your belly collapse in and your chest deflate. Now you might be thinking, Hope, this is like super simple. That's because it is. And so just do the same thing again. Inhale through the nose. Let the belly expand. Really try to focus on softening the muscles of the abdomen. So there's no tension. And then when you get as full as you can, see if you can make that exhalation longer than the inhalation. And I want to encourage you to sense that feeling. And then let's just do that one more time together. Inhale through the nose. Let the belly expand. Let the chest rise. And exhale through the nose. Now, before you come back and open your eyes and take your hand off your chest and belly, just take inventory of how you feel. What your mind is like, your body is like, your breathing is like. Now, this isn't a miracle drug. This isn't a quick fix in 30 seconds. But what this is a step-by-step process to help you become more connected to that mind shift. Taking your mind, your thoughts, your feelings from one area and shifting them to a new one. And so now you can let your hands go. You can open your eyes up. How do we apply this at home? Well, I think one of the biggest things is we're taught in society to wait until we're broken to fix ourselves. And so instead, I want you to think about, where can I fit something as simple as deep breathing, which we just did, into my day? If it was me, I would suggest inserting it into your morning. You're already laying in bed. So before you get out of bed, just take 3 nice deep breaths. Let your mind focus completely on your breathing, on how you feel. And then after that, setting an intention to shift your mind away from whatever happened yesterday, away from whatever happened 30 years ago, into what it is that you desire, what you want. If 95% of our thoughts by the age 35 are repetitive thoughts, that doesn't really leave a whole lot of space for new things to come your way unless you shift, unless you choose to shift gears. So breathing can help us do that. Okay, so when we breathe, we reframe into the positive. This was what I had to learn to do, and this is what yoga taught me year after year after year. As I come to the yoga mat, I come to my breathing, I come to meditation, I come to class, teaching or practicing, and I could have had the worst possible day. And leaving, I always felt 100% better. So the message here is this: if you're in a space right now, mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, business, how is it that you can reframe your thoughts, your words, and your breathing to attract something new? The next category is movement. And I'm going to click off of the screen share here because I'm going to be a much, much more fun thing to watch than the slideshow. And so the next one is movement. And when we think about movement, we think about posture. At least I think about posture. And after 20 years of teaching thousands of people yoga and fitness, I've learned one really important thing. When we go to work out, when we go to exercise, when we go to yoga, we bring all of our habits with, our good habits and our not so good habits. So I want to teach you one really quick posture hack that you can apply to your everyday life that I think is going to make a huge difference. So if you're sitting, you're going to sit nice and tall. If you're standing, you're going to stand nice and tall and bring your arms up in front. And you're going to become the strongest person on the face of the earth. You are the Incredible Hulk. And you're going to grab the steel bar in front of you. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to bend that bar and feel your shoulders drop down. And then drop your arms down to your sides. Now, once you've done that, I want you to take your head and I want you to slide it back over your shoulders. What you should feel is an openness in your chest and a much more upright posture. When you step into life and any obstacle that's in life with an open chest, an upright posture, not only are you going to be more accepting and willing to tackle those hard things in life, but your breathing is going to drop deep into the belly. And whenever we breathe deeply, we access what's called the vagus nerve. And that vagus nerve triggers our brain to go, it's okay, you're safe, calm down, and step out of stress. So the next time you are ready for a big meeting or you have to say something to someone and you're really unsure about it, practice break the stick. It's going to open your chest up, drop your shoulders down, get you out of that hunchback position, and help you step into whatever it is you have coming next in your life. All right, the last section here, we're going to wrap it up. Our last part here, we're going to focus on, and we're just going to keep it off of the screen share because we'll be able to just talk about this, is mission. It's not about business, it's about your mission. And why is it that you're here? What is it that you're hoping to accomplish and move forward towards? Because it's not just a job, it's a career. It's not just a career, it's a business. And it's not just a business, it's a mission. And when we focus on being mission driven in life, we find that everything we do, or at least everything we try to do, should be in alignment, should be congruent with that. This is one of the messages and one of the lessons that I learned probably a decade after opening my yoga studio. I was just kind of doing what I was doing and what I taught and what I felt like was right, which is good. But as we start to get more focused on, what am I good at? Why am I here? How can I help people? And what do people keep asking me for more information on? We can start to step back and go, maybe that's why I'm here right now. Whether that's in the immediate or the bigger picture in things. So what's your mission? Why are you here? What is it that you can offer out to the world? And then watch what you get back, come back tenfold. When we think about moving forward in the conspiracy of goodness, when we think about how it is that we can contribute to a happier, healthier society, it's really how we present ourselves to the world. And so to help you with that, I want to make sure all of you get access to my Posture Perfect guide. It's a simple little video talking about some of the things we talked about today, and then a nice little Cliff Notes PDF that you can look at to go, oh, okay, I need to make sure that my shoulders are open or my feet are pointing in the right direction, and several other points that we didn't get a chance to cover today, you're going to be able to get in that guide. I'll leave you with this. I've been in recovery now for almost 15 years. And although there have been many ups and downs, many sidewinding roadmaps that made no sense, I'm pretty sure they were written in a foreign language, I kept the course. I kept putting one foot in front of the other. And I believe it's because I got more and more clear with every step, every day, every month, every year that I was on this planet. I got more clear on my message. I got more clear on my mission. And as I continued to step forward, I reminded myself that I needed to move every single day. And within that movement, I reminded myself I had to keep shifting my mind if I wanted something different than what I currently have. You deserve the same. And all of that is available to you. Thank you.
Oh, Hope, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I was finishing up there writing note after note after note. Everybody, we've left some time here at the end for questions for Hope, so please put them in the chat. I'll go ahead and kind of start us off. Hope, I think many of us, or we found as we are growing the Conspiracy of Goodness network, that we're looking for purpose, we're looking for, as you would put it, a mission. And I wonder if you could give us some insight into, and I think that very often we have these like instantaneous stories of knowing mission. And I think you were very fortunate to sort of learn that early in life. But I wonder if in your experiences as a coach and as teaching classes and living the sort of diverse life you have, if you found any sort of common threads as people develop their mission and as they stumble across them, kind of as a way of helping others who are still looking for that mission find it and secure it and kind of have the confidence to know that's what it is.
Yeah. And so what I'm hearing you're asking is kind of like, what can we do to get more clear on that mission? And one, I think I just want to say the fact that you're a part of this group, the fact that you're here going, I want to be a part of something greater than myself. This whole idea of conspiracy of goodness is already saying that you're tuning into what that mission is, that life calling that you have. I believe that if you're on this planet, you're on this earth, you have a pulse and a breath, there's a mission for you. And the way best I have found to cultivate it in my own life and in my past yoga students' lives, but also even with the business coaching clients that I work with now. And one of the biggest things is we have to take time for ourselves. We live in a society of rise and grind. The more you hustle, the less you sleep, the more that you work 18 hours a day, then you, my friend, you are going to be successful. You are going to be able to have the biggest mission on everyone on the planet. And I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. Because you know, all of those things, what all those things have in common is you lose touch with yourself. You're exhausted. You've normalized stress and you've traded your own sanity. And when your body is able to repair itself and your brain is able to regenerate itself, which is when you're sleeping, you're trading that for this grind mentality. And I've done that. I've fallen into that. I was one of those followers for a while where I was like, I guess I got to keep doing everything in order to get ahead. And here's the funny thing. The second that I've stopped doing that, now I'm not saying that sometimes I have long hours. Sometimes I have to, do more because I have something big coming up or something broke and I have to fix it. Like, I'm not saying that. But the second I stepped back and said, you know what? If I don't go for a walk every day, I find that my anxiety level is higher. If I don't stop myself and practice good posture, if I don't use, which is one of my favorite tools, my back shield in my car, my back is killing me. I get out of the car and I'm a crabby POS, if I can just say that, like, because my body hurts. My body hurts. And if I don't take time to read or listen to an audio or a podcast every single day for at least 5 minutes to shift my mind, I find that I can easily go down the tubes by seeing something on Facebook, people complaining, by something maybe my spouse said, indirectly, or whatever it is. I have to do those things every day. If I want to be a part of my mission, if I want my mission to be revealed, when we're clear and we're focused, that happens. When we're just hustling and grinding and doing things for the sake of doing things, we can't see what's in front of us. And so that's really probably the best advice that I can give. And usually people are like, well, that's way too simple. Like they want some like really drawn out formula. And the best thing I can tell you is take time to breathe every day. Take time to get clear in your head every day and make sure you move every day. And all of those moments strung together help you get clear to hear and see what's next for you. And if you don't know what your mission is, you're going to move towards it. If you do know what your mission is, you're going to get more clear on it. Everybody wins.
I think that's super, super good advice, and something that I don't think we're talking enough about is this making time for these kind of things. I know certainly my generation is like the side hustle generation. And so there's this like feeling of like constantly going. And I think too, what I've realized is like, unless we set aside time or put boundaries on our time, like if we're not valuing our time and presenting that to the people who are closest to us in our lives, they're not going to see that boundary and respect it. And so I love this idea of really being intentional to tell others about your intentionality.
Absolutely.
So we have some questions coming in. Linda asks, Hope, I love the story of how you actually stumbled upon the endeavor of Mother Trucker Yoga, which, I mean, great title. I'm sure there are people that are just like, please, we would like to know about the sign behind you. I remember a part of it was showing up, part being open to unusual opportunity, and part of the courage to connect things no one would have ever thought. So could you share a little bit about Mother Trucker with us? I think it's just too good not to share.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you remember in the beginning, I told you about my early experience with yoga and moving out of addiction. And the gal I worked with looked at me and said, you look like someone that would practice yoga. Then my yoga teacher said, you look like someone that would teach yoga. These were all just random conversations that led me towards my mission. 3 years ago, my husband is in a small town local politics. He invited me to a local business mixer. And I was like, no, I know everybody in the room, not interested. Like all these people are, 5 times my age, like I'm not interested. He's like, no, you should totally come. So it's like, okay, fine. So I come with, and I walk into the room, and as expected, I know everybody there. And so I also have social anxiety, and it's much more controlled and managed now. But when I'm in situations that I'm uncomfortable with, I notice those triggers. So I got to use my breathing. I have to shift my mind away from past experiences so I don't try to relive those again. And I stepped in the room and I was like, okay, I'm just going to enjoy myself. I'm going to be open. And I'm standing at a cocktail table, eating my little platter of food and having my old fashioned, because I live in Wisconsin. And I start talking to this guy at this table I've never met before. And I'm trying to pitch him corporate yoga because at that time I had my yoga studio. That was part of what I did. And he looks at me and says, do you have anything for truck drivers, like in the cab of their truck? And I looked at him, and I think I'm theatrical and funny at times. I threw up my hands and I was like, mother trucker yoga, just to get a rise out of this guy, just to make him laugh. And he looks at me dead in the face, sticks out his hand and says, that's brilliant. You want to go into business? And now my husband and I have been happily married for almost 15 years. And I looked at my husband. I'm the balloon in the relationship. He's the rock. I'm the, yes, let's do it and figure it out later. He's the, let's go home and say no tomorrow. And so I looked at him and I said, what do you think? He goes, you should totally do it. And so I shook his hand. He called me the next day and says, all right, partner, are we going to do this? And a year later, I bought him out of the business to grow my mission, because it became very clear that I was the mission holder for Mother Trucker Yoga. And 3 years later now, we are set on track for a trajectory to inspire 1 million drivers to move more from the cab of their truck. I have a pain relief cream called Stiff Mother Trucker that's going to be nationwide in Love's truck stops in the next 6 weeks. And all in the mission, all in the lane of what it is that I was put here to do. Because 3 years ago, when I still had my yoga studio, I was feeling like I didn't know where I belonged. I felt like that door was closing in my life. I didn't really know what my mission was for the next phase of my life. And all of a sudden, my former business partner falls into my lap. He shows up at a business mixer that I didn't want to go to, but I showed up, and then gives me this crazy offer that I decided to say yes to, because what was worst thing can happen? We fail and I go back to doing what I was doing. But sometimes our mission shows up in unlikely places. Sometimes our mission shows up through unlikely people. Sometimes our mission shows up with opportunities we didn't even want to be a part of. But when we show up, when we take that breath and shift our mind away from all of those past experiences that we keep dragging with. Life doesn't keep giving you this crappy situation. You keep dragging it with. And when we shift our mind away from that, our mission can be revealed for us. That happened to me, not once, not twice, but 3 different times in my life. It can happen to you.
Oh, I'm sitting here mumbling to myself how incredible, and I have my microphone off, but I
and
love
I'm not
it.
a truck driver, you guys, okay? I'm not a truck driver. My dad's not a truck driver. My husband's not a truck driver, but it just happened.
That's incredible. I love that. And the idea too, that I love that this is something that, like, these are not things that you'd put together normally. And I love that idea that you fell into a place where, like, there was something new because you were open to these 2 very different ideas coming together. You know what I mean? I feel like there's so much opportunity for all of us there when your course is set by mission, instead of like, this is what success looks like. You're sort of open to that kind of strange, not strange, but sometimes those strange moments of collaboration.
Absolutely. And I'll say one other thing to that. I grew up with the mentality of, like, you have to push, you have to keep going, you have to never give up. And although those things are really admirable and they are appropriate in many aspects of life, yoga has taught me, mind shifting, breathing, movement has taught me that there's also a part of allowing things to unfold. Patience is a big thing that we cultivate through yoga poses, because you're in a pose that's uncomfortable and you're shaking and it's tight and you feel that little roll beneath your belly button and it's super uncomfortable and you think everyone sees it. Like, all of these things happen, and you have to be patient with yourself. You have to give yourself grace that the mission of that pose to help you have more pliable hamstrings or loosen your back or strengthen your core, is going to happen, mission accomplished. And we
Mm,
have to be patient with ourselves. And so I just want to recognize that for you all today, that in order to shift our minds, in order to add more movement into our lives, in order to make sure that we're mission driven, sometimes we have to be patient for that to be revealed to us.
mm, mm. I think that ties really well into another question we have here, which is how do you get over a fear of failure on the journey to find your mission? Sometimes I think your mission can be so, I'm adding on here because your mission can be so personal that you don't want it to fail. It's like your little precious baby, your little pet that you don't want to fail. So yeah, how do you get over a fear of failure when you're on your mission?
Someone said to me many, many years ago that just in a casual conversation, you know, Hope, it's never failure. It's one more no to get to your yes. It's one more wrong turn stepped over to get to the straight and narrow. And I really took that to heart because I used to beat myself up over failure. As addicts, I mean, we thrive on that. The more we can fail and the more we can fall down, the more we just reinstill the fact that we are hopeless, that we're no good, we're washed up, there's nothing good out there for us. And so part of that mind shift is when we get in those positions, changing that thought trajectory from, oh, I failed again, to, well, that's another no that now I don't have to cross over anymore. One of the things I don't like doing is I do not like calling people and having to be like almost like a cold call. And I hate when they say no. And so the only way to get over that fear, would you believe it, is to get on more phone calls and learn to be okay with the uncomfortableness of hearing the word no, because no is not right now. Failure is the opportunity for you to fearlessly move forward to the next endeavor. Because if you never fail, you don't know what it's like to rise. It's no different than the yin yang symbol. Do you notice how there's a little white in the darkness and a little darkness in the white? It's to remind you of that polarity of the opposite. So even when you're in the goodness, that little reminder of where you've been keeps you moving forward. And when you're in the darkness, that little bit of light keeps pushing you forward. So I've really learned through just constant reframing in my thoughts that it's not failure. It's another check mark in the that's not for me. That's not right now. I have built so many different programs and courses and downloads, and I've written several different manuals and books that didn't really do much at the time. And then now 10 years, here I am rolling out a book called Trucking Yoga, Simple Fitness for the Long Haul. And wouldn't you know that I would say 90% of that content I went back to and I pulled into that book. And with our publisher, she was like, oh my gosh, Hope, you have like the majority of this already created. We're just going to like tweak it for truck drivers and travelers. It just wasn't my time. I didn't fail in those endeavors, but they were meant for the future. So maybe some of your failures are meant for the future as well.
I love that. Like failures are just meant for the future. I love it. I love it. Ellen asks on the thread of your work helping truck drivers move, what is your favorite yoga pose / stretch for those of us who sit in a chair all day at work? I am currently hunching so bad it's not even funny. For my own sake, please.
Okay, so I'm gonna say one thing first, and then I'm gonna show you a couple of the things that I love. So I'll say this: there are 4 basic movements that everyone should be doing in order to age healthy, and it's squatting, reaching, bending, and twisting. You need to be doing those things every single day. This is not exercise, you all. This is functional movement. And I tell all my drivers, just like what I told my yoga students for years, if you don't want to be in a wheelchair now, you best get out of the chair now. If you don't want to be in a wheelchair when you're 80, you best get out of the chair right now. And so that being said, where can I add more reaching into my day? Now, don't complicate this. This is where our brains start thinking, as we've been taught complicated. You need a course for that. You need an expert coach for that. You need these 9 weeks of rehab in order to teach you how to do this again. We have been bred to believe that everything should be complicated. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to have things that are complicated. Simple, easy strategies can make all the difference. So reaching, that's you bringing your arm up overhead and bending sideways at your desk. Do it right now. It's like, ooh, that's tight. And then do the same thing on the opposite side. And notice which side is tighter, because you probably lean next to your mouse. So think about when you side bend and reach like that, think about your shirt being tucked in super tight. The tighter your side body is, the tighter your back is, the more it pulls down and brings tension to your shoulders. So you stretch your arms up and just do a simple side bend. That's the seat in front of the computer. That's the driver's seat. That's the edge of your bed. Like, this works anywhere. That's reaching. Squatting. So this is my secret little thing I do every time I go to the bathroom. I do 15 squats every single time I go into the bathroom. This isn't to be fit and healthy and have a great booty and rock hard abs. This is because I want to be able to get down on the ground with my kids, one day my grandkids. I want to be able to tie my shoes, wash my feet in the shower. And so it doesn't have to be pretty. Hold on to the side of your sink and squat down every single day. Bending. I'm not talking about hunching forward. I'm talking about finding your hip line and bending forward. Try it with straight legs, which is more of a hamstring stretch, then try it with bent legs, which is more of a full body fold. And then finally, twisting. So when we twist our body, we nourish our spinous processes and the discs between our body, in between each vertebrae. And when we don't twist, all of that becomes super, super stiff. It's like a glow stick. The glow stick doesn't do much of anything till you break it. And then all of that glowing goodness all breaks free. We need to rotate our body every single day. So with my drivers, I always tell them, you have to buckle up at least 3 times a day. In the morning when you start, you have a mandatory 30-minute break, and then you usually have to stop either for the night or to drop off your load or pick up a new one. So every time you buckle your seatbelt, purposely twist your body as much as you can, and then just go the other way. So how about this? Every time your phone rings, you have to do a twist. Every time you have to answer a text message, you have to rotate your body both ways. These are just little vices, little pit stops that we can train ourselves to do to incorporate more movement into the day. And usually it's like well, that seems too simple. That's because it is. That is literally how simple it is. Watch a 4-year-old. Watch a 4-year-old. They are twisting and moving and reaching and bending and doing all these things. You were once that 4-year-old, my friend. You were once that 4-year-old, free in your body to move every single time you didn't feel good. Now my son's upside down on the couch. Then he's right side up. Then he's hanging off the arm. Then he's sitting with his one leg up on the back thing. Like, he's everywhere because he's so in tune with his body. You were once that person. You can go back to that. So squatting, reaching, bending, and twisting. Put them on a Post-it note on your bathroom mirror and do all of that before you leave the bathroom. Put it on the dashboard in your truck. That's what I tell my drivers to do, to remind you to do these things every single day. The best way to remind yourself to do them is have it obvious. One of my favorite stretches, though, to do for a driver, especially for back pain, because 80% of our population has back pain, truck driver or not, is what we call a pelvic tilt. So I'm going to lower, I have a sit-stand desk. I'm going to lower my desk down so you can see my chair. And if you sit at a desk, you absolutely have to have a move stool. It is a ergonomically correct stool. It actually has a rounded bottom. I can send you the link so you can read about it, but they are a game changer.
Please do.
They're amazing. They activate your core. You burn like, I think it was 300 more calories sitting on a move stool than you do on a regular stool. And they're like super comfortable. So anyways, you're going to sit nice and tall. I'm going to move back here. This is the beauty of Zoom. You just got to kind of roll with it. Okay. So you're going to sit nice and tall. Feet flat on the ground, and on the inhalation, arc your lower back as much as you can. It's almost like you're spilling coffee out through your belly button. And on the exhalation, you're going to tuck your tailbone, pull your belly in, and round your shoulders forward. Now, I want you to bring the whole spine in. If I was my driver, I would say you're driving, be cautious. And so on the inhalation, put your hands against your knees, pull your shoulders back and lift your heart, squeeze your shoulder blades. Exhale, round your body, tuck your tailbone, pull your ribs to your hips and your chin to your chest. Inhale, arc your body, pull your shoulder blades together, lift your sternum, and exhale, round your body. So now we're bringing the whole body, the whole spine into the pelvic tilt. But if you were driving or if you were mad typing, you would just do your lower body. So you could easily just do the pelvis as well. But this creates a lot of motility and mobility in the realm of the pelvis, which we get really stiff in this lower body. And then we have incontinent issues. Then we have constipation. Then we have digestive upset. One of the things that I often talk with my clients about is the fact of if they have digestive issues, if they have internal issues, how much of that is posture related? How much of that is movement related? Movement is a nutrient. Breathing is a nutrient. It's a vitamin. And so if you're taking a multivitamin, you're taking B and you're taking E and you're taking your omega, are you taking your breathing vitamin every day? Are you taking your movement vitamin every day? Are you taking your sleep vitamin every day? These are vitamins and you need them every single day to survive, and not just to survive, to thrive. Think about it that way. Mind shift to a new way of approaching life in your body, and you will see things transform in your lives. You will see that mission unfold for you.
I love it. Everybody, I am putting the link also to Hope's How to Create Perfect Posture guide over in the chat. Hope, please do send me the link for the stool.
So what I'll do
yeah, please.
is I will put it, because so when you fill out that form, you're going to get sent an email with, I have a video for you guys to watch on posture, which takes you through all of the posture strategies, not just the upper body. And then a simple little PDF just to kind of give you the basics. But what I'll also put in there is I will put in the link to the Move stool. I will put in the link to the back shield, which is every single vehicle needs to have back shield. It is transformed my life. I usually couldn't drive for more than 30 minutes without my back locking up on me because I had a severe fall a couple of years ago, and that has saved me. Really, really great quality products. I don't normally refer people to products because I'm super skeptical of that stuff, but these are really, really great companies and I really love them. So I will put that information in there, and then a bunch of other goodies. I thought about 3 other things I wrote down. So I will send another email after that with the list of everything for resources for you all.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you everybody for joining us here. Thank you so much, Hope, for bringing us through this workshop. I feel like very energized. Got one more interview after this for the day, and I can't thank you enough for being a part of this community, for getting what we do here, for sharing your story, for being so candid about your story with us, and for really doing so much work that is changing lives. I know that we've talked about this on the side before, but like that the importance of truck drivers in our lives these days, it can't go unsaid here. I think we have to say it here. And I think your mission has evolved from maybe your personal growth to now this whole new community of people. And I want to thank you for constantly being on that mission driven purpose, because it has made such a difference, not just in the lives of us here on the Zoom call, but also I think our lives at large, and the lives of millions of people, of 1 million people at the very least. So thank you for the tremendous work that you do and for being a part of this community. We can't thank you enough.
Absolutely. And I'll leave you all with this. When you are clear and you stay the course on what your mission is, you will attract countless other opportunities to share your gifts and talents, whether those are the gifts and talents that are directly in line with your mission, or there are other things that you're like, when will I ever use that? I would really like to do something with that, but that's just like not in line. You start to attract those. You start to get past those failure roadblocks that get you to the freedom of what your future holds for you. And that's why I'm here with all of you today. I truly believe that. I'm so clear on my mission with Mother Trucker Yoga that you all looked at it and were like, I need to have people hear about that. And that's why I'm here today. I'm not here to talk to you because you're truck drivers. I'm here to share that mission with you all and how it fits for all of you and how you can take some of those things and add them to your lives. So my lesson is this: step back and let things unfold. Shift your mind, get moving every day, and you will see that mission unfold for you. I know it.
Thank you, Hope. Thank you, everybody who has joined us this evening. We are so lucky to have you. Please stay tuned and keep on our mailing list. We have a great happiness hour at the beginning of August with Marco Santini, who's an incredible artist, and he will be joining us. And then we will be moving on and moving into some really exciting announcements coming up in the next week. So if you are not on the Ever Widening Circles or Conspiracy of Goodness mailing list, make sure you get on it, because we are dropping something very exciting on the 27th that Hope was a part of last year, if that gives anybody any hints. So thank you everybody for being a part of this. We are so stoked to have you, and we cannot wait to see you guys at the next happiness hour or workshop coming up. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. This was a great conspiracy of goodness right here that happened tonight.
I couldn't have said it better.